legend, Four Eyes. Real quick, brother. Introduce yourself, even though everybody know what's going on.
Wagwan, all praise to the Most High. It is I, the ambassador, everything awesome, and advocate of prescription eyewear, Four Eyes. That's right, the number 4, IZE, always hyphenated, 4-IZE, or as a lot of people in the metaverse like to call me, Cousin Snoop. So, how y'all doing?
Yes, man. Welcome to the show. Glad to get a chance to do this.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. I am very happy to be here.
Yes. So, real quick, man, let's take the people on a journey. Let's take them to the beginning. The birth of Four Eyes. How did you even get into this music thing?
I got into music out of poverty. You know how they always ask you what you want to be when you grow up? For some reason, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I mean, for a long ass time, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. The only thing I knew I was going to be was Michael Jackson or some type of entertainer, and I left it at that. So I'm talking about all of elementary school, middle school, high school. I had no idea what I was finna be, what my major was. I was just real good at entertaining or holding a conversation or getting somebody to think outside of the box.
For sure. And so, like, at what moment did you know, like, this could be my career? Like, I could do this seriously?
With most things, you just do it because you kind of got the idea, like maybe a little feeling that you could pull it off, but then after a few field experiments, you get enough applause or adoration, you realize, I do got what it takes, or you know what, maybe I at least got enough to go a little further. So I would definitely say when I kicked my first off the dome freestyle in high school and I made everybody in the cypher run in the opposite direction, I say that's when I knew that I was on to something.
Spit the verse that you spit.
It was off the dome. Like, it was completely spontaneous in the moment, and it was pure energy, pure ether just built up in that moment. That's what makes a freestyle really a good freestyle, is that moment. You can't spit the same freestyle somewhere else and it has the same oomph that it had in that moment, because the things that the artist was looking at the time to really lock in the spontaneity of that moment won't be present when you repeat it. So, it's like trying to make a copy of a copy. It's going to be faded. It's going to lose some stuff.
Yeah. So, talk to me about the Atlanta culture.
Oh, Atlanta culture. I love it.
Like talk a little bit about how it influenced you as an artist. Just talk about that. Like, give us a little history on what the music scene was like around the time you were trying to come up, and even talk to us a little bit about what high school and stuff you were going to.
Oh, well, I'm from the west side of Chicago.
Okay.
Cook County, 708. Okay. Oak Park, to be exact. I came to Atlanta in 99, the spring of 99. And just from my few times visiting before, the culture always, like, Atlanta is, quote unquote, black as fuck. And, I'm not a big fan of the word or term black. We can get into that another time. But for lack of a better term, Atlanta was pro-black. Black power. It was black businesses, black entrepreneurs, the radio stations. Like in Chicago, we didn't have a major hip-hop radio station. They play hip-hop for like an hour on the weekends type shit. But Atlanta, like V103, Hot 95 before it became 107.9, like it was a major hip hop presence. The clubs, like it was teen clubs down here. It wasn't no teen clubs in Chicago. So all of these things built and led to promoting a quote unquote black culture that I completely loved and identified with, because growing up in the west suburbs of Chicago, it's not a whole lot of us, and when you do see us, it's mad abandoned buildings, vacant lots, and poverty, like all in those communities. So to come to Atlanta and see the thriving, flourishing, quote unquote black community, had me by the heart.
Man, man, that's dope to hear. So let's get into you diving into music like full-time professionally a little bit. Talk a little bit about that journey, how you climbed up the rankings and stuff like that, how you got your first record deal and stuff like that.
Oh, let's see. Ooh, record deals suck. So when I was rapping and shit in Chicago, all of that was just like, that was junior college. That was like minor league. That was just me, figuring out some shit. It wasn't until I actually moved to Atlanta and I had the presence of, running with DTP, being around Ludacris and just seeing his professionalism, that I learned the business end of the music. So I wasn't professional until Luda's first album came out, when I got my first placement. That's when music business as a whole, outside of just ciphers or rapping or doing some mixtape, something or another, like that was my first stake in the game. That's what album? We on the 25th anniversary, September 2000. Yeah. 25th anniversary, Luda, Incognito back for the first time. So I've been a professional for 25 years now.
No, that's fire, man. Yeah, and just for those that may have not know, like, walk them through the process, what it was like working on the album and some of the stuff that you contributed.
Man, the best process I could walk through anybody is you got to be in the right place at the right time, and a closed mouth don't get fed. You got a rolling stone gathers no moss. You got to be shaking and moving to be in folks' eyesight, because out of sight will be out of mind. If I was not in Atlanta, I wouldn't have been on Chris's album when he was working on it. If I wasn't making the strides I was making upon getting to Atlanta in the battle community here, wrecking MCs and really just establishing myself as a lyricist, I also wouldn't have been on Chris' album. And if I didn't grow up with the nigga and know him since I was in 5th grade, I wouldn't have been on the album. So all these little things tie into right place at the right time and having the opportunity to showcase your talent. Because, it's not who you know will get you in the building, but what you know will excel your position once you do get in that door. So it was a good thing I was good. But yeah, man, relationships. It's all about building relationships. That's what majority of everything is built off of, is relationships.
Facts, big facts. Nah, that's dope. You dropping the gems already. So real quick, tell us your first battle in Atlanta.
Ooh, my first battle in Atlanta, it was a resurrection battle. Shout out to my guy Troy with the committee. Well, at least that was the name of the crew then that was throwing the events. It was at the Samba Reptile, and it was like, they might have did quarterly. Every 3 months, it was a battle. And the first battle I got in, I still have my Chicago style. I really didn't, know a bunch of this, that, or third. So my first battle was just more me getting familiar with Atlanta. And then my second battle, I got to the next round. So whether it was me being familiar or people being familiar with me now, I excelled just a step further. I want to say I won the third battle. I might have got in it and then got a little bit further and lost, but the battle I remember winning was right after I got arrested for driving on a suspended license. I had got locked up in Lovejoy for like a week. I hadn't smoked the whole time. Then when I got out, I had to move. It was just all these personal life things going on, but I was just in a grimy mental state, and I was ready to like fuck everybody up. Pardon my Francais.
Yeah.
But the best part about the battle that I won is because Ludacris worked in the radio station as Chris Lover, he was privy to all these promotional gear and items and such. So from time to time, I might put on a Def Jam jacket. I might put on a Boot Camp Click jacket. But this time I decided to put on a No Limit windbreaker. And my locks wasn't done because I had just got out the jail. So I had put a shower cap on just to cover up my rough edges. So I have a Jerry curl bag on and a No Limit windbreaker. And I promise you, it was the worst expectation. Nobody expected me to do nothing. Everybody expected the worst. So when I started spitting and I went into my zone, it completely blew everybody away. That lower expectation, but receiving an over-exaggerated award, if you will, I believe that helped put me over the top, and I ended up winning that battle.
That's hard. You want to say who you went up against, or you don't want to?
Fung Sai You. I mean, it's a bunch of folks that probably ain't even rapping no more. It's 25 years ago. Folks have been lifing. You know, if they still here, you know, but then folks done dropped out quick, got jobs, you know, conform, changed religion, whatever you want to call it. But and then a lot of folks is really, you know, balls deep into hip hop. Yeah. 25 years later. Yeah. You know, like I am.
Right.
So I'm grateful.
Right.
Raise the roof.
Facts. So would you? That was kind of like what Smack before Smack, because I don't know how long Smack existed. Right.
So a lot of the circuits was bubbling, but there was no connectivity. YouTube and the things wasn't out, so a lot of stuff was regional. Yeah. And then if it made a magazine or something, then it got the coverage. But you know, this was a local battle that I would say it wasn't getting the Blaze battle coverage or things like that, or they had stopped doing the battles at the time in which, you know, you get your 106 in Park, you get your direct effect MTVs, like battling was a major thing in the 2000s and moving forward. But I say this is, and see, I never wanted to battle. I only did it because there wasn't no open mics where you could really do hip hop. See, back in the day, they always hated hip hop, so like you couldn't do hip hop at an open mic. You had to do poetry. So then I'm rapping my raps, but I'm like, you know, trying to slow it down so that it doesn't sound so boom bap. And it was just like, that blew me too. So it was like, all right, well then if battle rapping is the only way I can get some type of exposure, because it's also the time in which you're looking to be discovered. Everybody couldn't put themselves on. It was about networking and getting discovered. So if the open mics and the showcases wasn't, you know, friendly to a player, then the battle circuit is where I jumped in. But as soon as I won a battle, I got on Chris's Incognito Independent album. Soon as I got on that album, he was doing a negotiation with Def Jam like 3 months later. So What's Your Fantasy now being shot in August, he dropped Incognito in May. So it's like, he went from, like, it was almost instantaneous. And then, you know, What's Your Fantasy into Throw Them Bowls. So now, whatever I thought I was going to do when I came to Atlanta, like, everything changed because there was more opportunity, there's more everything. Like, I moved to Atlanta because my friend worked for the radio. So I'm like, if I make a good song, my nigga going to play my song on the radio. But he put out his album, gets a major deal, major label. So now I'm like, okay, well then shit, I should be able to get an album or a project on my homeboy's label. So then that's where the shift changed, but then that's where also the expectation, folks feel like they entitled to shit they didn't necessarily earn. And just because I was a nigga's friend since we was in 5th grade didn't mean I was supposed to have an album. And I ain't learned that for a minute. Yeah. Even though I was better than everybody on DTP, it still is a matter of you paying your dues and doing what's necessary to make it make sense at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that's real, man. That's real. So talk a little bit about the difference in battle culture and hip hop, like mainstream hip hop at the time. Like, what was that like in that 2000s era?
Well, battle rappers and hip hop, Like battle rap is always gonna be street, and then hip hop or rap, once it hits that business, you thinking about marketing, you think about crossing over, you think about having a single, something that's gonna appeal to the masses. That was always the thing, is that you wanna have something to appeal to the masses because everybody wasn't independent. You had to conform to the major label. So I figured out early that most battle rappers was just fuel for another rapper. Most battle rappers or street were just, good inspiration for somebody else or somebody else's song. So I stopped battle rapping to focus on making songs. As much as I could come up with a good metaphor, punchline, or whatever, that wasn't gonna be a song. Because remember, I said I wanted to be Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson got songs.
Right.
So I stopped battle rapping wholeheartedly to focus on making songs, because songs is what get placement is what get licensing is what get generational wealth. That's the publishing that lasts forever. So battle rapping was no good to me. So that was number one. It's it's like fighting a pit bull. You can fight a pit bull in the street if you want to, but that shit illegal. It's not, you can't really make a profession out of it. Like, it wasn't what it is today. It wasn't what it is today. So the idea was that was just, something you did until you got an opportunity to do something else.
Right. No, that was great.
Because I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Right.
And all that fighting in the street, that wasn't me. I'm a Virgo. Wasn't trying to do it, but I could do it.
Birthday coming up.
Absolutely. But that ain't what I wanted to do, though.
Right. No, I respect it, man. So talk a little bit about, let's fast forward. So you signed with DTP, correct?
No.
Okay.
I signed with Ludacris Music Publishing because I did not have my publishing when the first album came out. So instead of having my own publishing and then being paid directly for my work on Luda's first album, Ludacris was paid, and then I was paid by Ludacris's company, Ludacris Music Publishing. Okay. But because of my excitement and ignorance, I thought that was me signing to DTP, and it wasn't. So then,
Yeah. You want to talk about that, or?
Oh, well, it's just, relationships get confusing. If we dating right.
Yeah.
With the intent of getting married. Mm-hmm. And then, I introduce you to my parents. I get your name tatted on me. I'm all these gestures that would signify a bond or a relationship, only to find out that, nah, it really wasn't that. Mm-hmm. So then that's where I always use relationships, because it's the biggest common denominator. It don't matter what you drive, what language you speak, or everybody has been in a relationship in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So, it's that assuming that you are the main and you realize you the side bitch. That's all it was. And I really thought, that I was main. But it was like, nah, side bitch.
It's a good analogy. You're killing it. The wordsmith. Yeah, so let's fast forward through that process. So you doing all the album stuff, you doing all the work and everything. At what point was it like, okay, I gotta get outside of this and push what I'm trying to do and just focus solely on what I'm trying to do? I know that's always probably was the point, but when did you say, all right, this is the...
That's why I brought up relationships.
Yeah.
If you know that you the side bitch, but then somebody keep calling you like, hey, let's get together and do something, you have aspirations that you might be more than a side bitch. Mm-hmm. But then the reality is like, nah, that's the illusion part. You still a side bitch, but it does behoove the other party when you make yourself available at their beck and call. Mm. But once you establish your boundaries and principles, then now it's a matter of, are you still going to be respected, or is the relationship still the same once you establish boundaries and principles? And you know, a lot of times it don't be, and I don't, you know, and in this case, like I say, I always take responsibility, but a lot of stuff is always done under the pretense of it's going to be greater later. And you don't necessarily talk about everything because you have trust or faith that things will be greater later. But because everybody's different, everybody has different goals and desires, that the intentions of everybody might not align up at the end of the day. So it should be a conversation that's had to make sure everybody on the same page. This prevents situations from becoming a resentful something or another, or from there being any bitterness. But as I learned from Yoda, attachment leads to the dark side. The sooner you can detach yourself from everything, the lighter life will be. And it's best to be like water, my friend.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So let's get into, and whatever you can talk or you feel comfortable about, some of the crazy stories that you might have had while in this journey. And it doesn't have to just be strictly with Luda. It could be anything. Any stories that you want to tell that could make the people be like, oh wow, I didn't know that.
Well, depending on who's watching, I got one of the craziest stories. I have one of the craziest stories of the past 25 years. In the realm that is documented, you can see it on American Greed. Like, it's a whole American Greed episode about some exploits I had with a shady investor and a campaign that we was using to really build the 4Eyes brand. And, you know, it spiraled out of control in a negative way. Shit went left, it went bad. Folks got burnt out, in particular me. Folks get depressed. Folks reinvent themselves, and then folks reemerge. The phoenix always rises from its ashes, but fuck all that. I'm mainly here because I heard JC telling that story about that beef between Ludacris and Drake, and I would love to add on to that because, one, I don't think it's ever been discussed.
Yeah.
Two, there is some knowledge about it because there are documented cases of certain things, but it never got put together or fully connected. And three, man, I love JC, but he's not the greatest storyteller in the world. I'm talking about he was leaving out so many details. Or maybe I just need to see part one because I only saw a portion of it. Maybe I need to see the other part, but man.
Yeah. Talk about it.
So boom. It's like 2010, maybe 11. Mm-hmm. I remember where I stayed, but I can't remember. It's about that time. 2009, 2010. Ludacris is about to bring out Battle of the Sexes. That's the album between him and Shawnna. Him and Shawnna get into it somehow, so now he takes Shauna's name off of all of the advertisements. She's still on the album, but he don't advertise her as being on the album. It's no longer a group album. It's just a Ludacris project. But Battle of the Sexes is supposed to be Luda and Shawnna. Something everybody was waiting for, DTP, like I was looking forward to it, but shit happened, went left. Okay, so in the process of that now, the My Chick Bad record, Luda gets Nicki Minaj on it. Mm-hmm. Now, at this time, Nicki Minaj, I mean, you know, Young Money, Lil Wayne, Drake, but at the time, Drake is super hot. He's super cool with Big Sean. When you friends with people, you use each other's styles. It should be noted that when you friends with people, you borrow their style.
Right.
So in this case, Drake and Big Sean are friends.
Yeah.
The stop pause flow is a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it was at its peak.
Yeah.
But when Chris did it, it didn't translate well. I want to say because he didn't do it the best.
Okay.
On My Chick Bad, Chris says, coming down the street like a parade, Macy's. He also said, what? No, that's what he said. He also said, I fill her up, balloons. So those was the two that he did back to back in the song. I feel like he only did it because Nicki Minaj is on the record. Nicki Minaj is Young Money. So it's like he's trying to, that's how Nicki raps, because Nicki is with Drake, Big Sean. So now, somewhere Drake does an interview and they ask him about the stop and pause flow. He says, yeah, I don't mind when other people use it. It just sucks when they use it and they say stuff like, coming down the street like a parade, Macy's. And it was like, oh shit, that was a shot at Luda. Then Big Sean is being interviewed. They ask him the same question and he says, yeah, I don't mind folks using it. It just sucks when they say stuff like, I fill her up balloons. And I was like, damn, both these niggas is attacking my guy. So, let me see. Because I smoke a lot. I don't want to mix up the timeline.
Yeah.
But let's just say after that, Chris is pissed. And he calls me. And he's like, yo, these niggas goddamn, fuck all that 4 hours. I need you to goddamn basically get a bunch of shit together because I'm going to need help. With some bar, with whatever it is, but get ready, basically. I got a phone call as get ready because I'm going to need some ammunition. So I'm like, bet. And when this happens, what I do is I'm advocating for my guy. I'm like, maybe my guy didn't bite Drake and Big Sean just because they're current, because other people have rapped in this style. It just wasn't it was a one and done. Somebody would do it once and then be done. It wasn't a constant thing where they would do it a lot on a project or something like that. So then I went throughout all the verses in history that I could think of, and I sent this nigga a list of all the people that did stop, pause, flow before Drake and Big Sean, so he could feel as if he did not bite Drake and Big Sean when he did this style.
Right.
The proof of this is it's a mixtape Chris did called 1.31 gigawatts mixtape, and he goes through everything I just told you. He is an interlude where he's shouting out or making reference to all of the people that did stop, pause, flow before Drake and Big Sean, so he can say he didn't bite them. He got it from everybody else. Now that that's done, somewhere Chris sees Drake, and Drake is, soft as shit. So when he sees Chris, it's, hey, Chris, how's it going? And Chris is like, man, I'm kind of upset. I heard, shit you said in the interview. He's like, oh, man, that's just, interview. I'm sorry, man, my bad. I ain't mean to offend you. And Chris like, hey, man, I accept your apology, but if you really would like to make up for it, if you could apologize publicly, that would make everything okay. Drake says, you know what? I got you, player, no problem. Everything's cool. They exchange numbers. Everything fine. Week go by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by. Let's say a whole month go by. There is no public apology made. Chris calls Drake. Phone number don't work no more. But then lo and behold, now this is what JC was talking about. JC was there. Mm-hmm. And I only know this because right after it happened, the nigga Chris called me. They're in like a t-shirt shop or something in Miami. Mm-hmm. Chris is in there first. His security guard, Andre, is in there. I'm not sure if everybody else is there. Let's say JP is in there. JP is the road manager. Andre is security. They in the store. Now, JC is in the van at this time, from what I heard. So Chris is in the store shopping. Drake comes in. Drake says what's up to everybody. Now, the store is closed for like some celebrity shit. Chris already in there, and then Drake comes in. So it's only like 8 people in there. Mm-hmm. Drake says what's up to everybody and act like he don't know that Chris is in the store. And there's only 8 people in there. So now Chris walk up to him and like, hey, the fuck, nigga, like, and then, oh, hey, Chris, I didn't see, like one of those numbers. Like, how you doing, buddy? And Chris is fuming, like, just, which is not Chris's normal character. This nigga's really mad. He was really upset. Yeah. And he was just, you know, wanting to get clarification, wanting the nigga to be a man of his word, this, that, or third. And then somewhere in the conversation, Drake says, you know what, you acting like a little bitch right now. And then when Drake says that, Chris gets the big arms from the Get Back video. This nigga, like, he's like, so people have to hold Chris back now.
I can talk to you, but I can see